Oh, do 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 do. Here we go. Oh yeah. What is that? Why is there a horse thing on my picture? What is going on? Okay, it's a weird start today. Hey, welcome back to Eccentric Nature live stream, complete with strange horse thingies that are stuck to my picture. I don't know what the heck that thing is in the top left corner. It is not one of my photos. What on earth is happening? It is bizarre, it is strange, it is eccentric nature. I guess it makes sense in some roundabout fashion. Because hey, we're here, I'm here. Everybody hearing everything? Is everything working? Before we get started with the show, want to make sure we are rocking. And it's working because apparently the photos aren't, so I'm very weirded out at the moment as to what's happening. Somebody explain it to me. Am I working? Am I not working? Maybe? Okay. Yeah, this is just a very strange setup here today where all of a sudden I look at my photo there and it's like, oh, there's a horse on it. How does that happen? I mean, I go to it and it's not there. The second I turn it on, there's a horse in the upper left corner. What? I don't get it, man. I don't get it. Good to see Seaglass in the Gardens and Blessing and Ash Young. Welcome to the house. We're just getting started and it's going to be a fun day. I got lots of fun things today. I got some crazy little herb facts for you. Lots of different stuff. And I also have a few different shoutouts to give you. I'm going to start off with some tea though. Okay. Interesting. I was wondering how this mix would work. I thought it might not work. I was just trying to figure things out. But this is a black tea called Red Velvet. And it's got a bunch of different little things in it. But I also added some nettle to it. And I added some dandelion root to it. And it's okay. It's not too bad. I was afraid that the nettle might make it just a little bit weird blending with the black tea and it wouldn't work. But it's okay. It's working for me. All right. How you guys doing today? Everybody feeling good today? Feeling lively and happy, I hope? Woo! All right. I'm just having fun getting started, making sure we got people showing up. We got 3 in the house so far. All right. That is good news. Good to have you all here. Ash Young says she's good. All right. Very good. Let's have fun and just jump into one of my first facts here. So one of the first things I just wanted to talk about is the difference between herbs and spices. Because, sometimes I kind of just go, and my mind kind of goes, what was it again? What was those differences? And I have to remind myself, oh yeah, what is exactly the difference between the two? Because there isn't much of a difference, really, at the end of the day. It's really, they can come from the same plant. In fact, some, like dill, is officially a herb and a spice. So, that's an interesting fact, amazing fact for you right there. But the main difference is that herbs essentially are supposed to be the plant leaves. So, like when you grow basil, that's pretty much all leaves, and that is why it's almost all an herb. But different ones like, dandelion that I've done recently also has spice included to it too. Because essentially, officially, the dandelion root is supposed to be a spice because the roots, the stems, the flowers, the seeds, and the berries are all supposed to essentially become spices. But that isn't always the case. Like we said with dill, it has edible leaves and seeds. And so it can it's both. Yeah, very strange. My first fun fact of the day. And mint is officially an herb, yes, because it is just the leaves that you're eating off of that for the most part. But yeah, anything that you're taking as a root and taking off the stem is officially a spice. I mean, I'll generally really kind of put everything under the blanket of herbs, unless we're talking more specifically of ones that are more ground down official spices. But generally, when we're talking about just the root, I'll still maybe just refer to it as an herb, even though officially it's a spice. Yeah, pretty cool, huh? Something you didn't know. Here's an easy one, but a fun one nonetheless. Allspice. Who knows about allspice out there? You guys heard about allspice? Yes? I assume most people have heard about allspice. Yes? Have you heard about allspice? I hope so. Give me some answers. I want to see some answers. Yes, star-shaped, says Sea Glass. Yes, kind of, says Ash Young. Well, allspice, this is one that I think people get confused sometimes. Allspice isn't all spices. Allspice is officially a spice blend, and it's made from primarily the Pimenta dioicea. I think I'm saying that right, which is a member of the myrtle family, and it's basically it reminds people of cinnamon, cloves, nutmeg, and pepper all kind of blended together. So, but when people hear of it, they think it's actually a combo of spices. When I first heard of it, I heard of allspice. I was like, oh, this must just be a combo spice. But basically, it's just a spice from the dried berries of the myrtle family of the Pimenta dioicea. So yeah, there's something I learned recently. I was like, oh, that's interesting. It's a Caribbean plant, or Middle Eastern is the main areas, and also Latin America. Those are the main three areas you'll find it, but mainly in the Caribbean. A lot of times it gets used in mulled wine, hot cider. There's other dishes I've had that ask for allspice, which you can essentially just replace it with cinnamon, cloves, nutmeg, and pepper, and because it's a very similar flavor, but it is its own particular flavor. But yeah, it's just a very interesting fact that when I first heard about it, I thought it was something like garam masala, where it was just a spice blend that was available at the supermarket, where you always have just a couple of spice blends that you'll find there. And I thought it was one of those, but it's like, no, allspice is actually from a particular plant. Yeah. Yes, Sea Glass. I thought that's what you were thinking of when you said the star-shaped one, star anise. Yeah. I actually have a video about that. It's very short. They have the differences between star anise and anise seed, because those are actually different as well. So you have to go check out that video to find out those differences. Ash Young was thinking perfume. Yeah. Woohoo! So yeah, I thought I got lots of wonderful things coming up, lots of fun, cool little ones here. But yeah, on that video in particular, actually let me bring that up for you so you have a link to it. That'll make it easier for you. But yeah, that video I go into a tea first, and then the second half, and I think I put timestamps on it, so if you just want to skip to the second half and just watch the differences part, it's on the second half of the video. Or if you want to see me talking about a tea, you can do that too. But let me bring that video up for you and send the link here in the description right now, so you have it ready to go. Here we go. Here is the link to my video. That's star anise versus anise seed. Yeah. Yeah, it's the ear plants. Yeah, definitely will be showing them off again this soon, Sea Glass. I might do some of that on Thursday, though my main plan for Thursday was to talk about some of the best herbs for PMS and for pain, which it's slightly different. Thanks a lot to Ash Young. I appreciate that. Yeah, the vanilla one, I'm very much my heart goes into those history videos the most. So anytime somebody says they love those history or mythology ones, I really appreciate it. Thanks a lot. But yeah, there's been a lot of transitioning happening. It's getting colder here, so it means the herbs aren't growing very much anymore. And I'm definitely starting to shrink them down to get them ready to travel here when we move here in, what, 10 days now? Something like that, 11 days? Yeah, 11 days. We're moving on the 22nd, so coming up soon. Ah. Yes, very exciting that. Um, where am I at? Live now. I never tweeted this out. I gotta tweet this out. Boom. Okay. Now that that's done, let's bring up a channel here. Boom. Here's one I was, a lady who was here with us last week. My last live stream, actually. Angela's Garden Sense. Angela's Garden Sense. Ba-dum-boom. Angela's Garden Sense. Give you the link. Boom. There you go. Angela's Garden Sense. Now we're back on. And she obviously does videos about her garden here. She's growing some greens for the fall. Looks like she might be doing some microgreens here. She's got some potatoes. Bit of a harvest with some of those peppers there. Yeah. Maybe some okra. Some melon harvest. More okra over here. Yeah. Lots of okra. That's what it is, okra. She does lots of okra and peppers apparently. So what's greens she growing for the fall? Let's check it out. Let's see what she's got here. She's growing some greens for the fall.
Angela's Garden Sense, and of course you see me out here on the deck, and I'm just working on all of the seedlings that I have. This particular tower is really, I call this one of my lettuce tower here, because all of these things are basically lettuce. And this particular grow tower, and this is one of those towers that I got earlier in the year from Dollar Tree, actually. Yeah. So, but I just wanted you to just see what I was up to today. And one of the things that I do have, I've just watered another set of seedlings. Most of these are going around here in the circle. You can see me back off and let you see the tray. Or see the little table. These are red mustard greens.
Mustard greens.
I'm going to wait till they get to have true leaves. They've sprouted, but I need for them to have true leaves before they actually get thinned out. Well, really won't get thinned out. They'll be transplanted into something larger where they can really grow. But, and of course, right in the middle here, this is more lettuce. So, basically, that's all I'm doing for fall. I'm going to have another little table also set up. These are lettuce, so I'll be able to eat some salads pretty soon and be able to munch on those up until November or something when it gets really super cold. One thing I've noticed here, because I've had these out here on this tray, you can tell this gets morning sun and then an afternoon sun. And then suddenly on this side, there's practically no activity here at all. These two little starter pots.
That is an interesting difference.
I guess I probably should have moved that around. But anyway, I have plenty of.
You can see there, yeah, it's the difference when what's hitting the sun and what's not there. That's just amazing, just how much just the sun is affecting which ones are growing and which ones aren't. But Angela's Garden Sense there. She surprised me there how she's just dousing them from the top and knocking the leaves back down into the dirt, and they just keep coming back, I guess, because I try and avoid that as much as possible. I usually try and bottom water as much as I can, or avoid doing, especially when it comes to herbs, you don't want to water straight on the leaves because it can actually damage the leaves, compared to, I guess, the lettuce greens and stuff can handle it better, I guess. That's just why she's just going right on top of them. But for mine, I always avoid that because, for the herbs in particular, that's a bad thing. So it kind of scared me when I saw her doing that. I'm like, wah! But I guess it works. So that's Angela's Garden Sense. Give her a like if you watch her video. Give her a full watch and subscribe to her if you like her. Cool gal. All right, Angela's Garden Sense. Hello, GLG. Good to see ya. Welcome to the Sunday. Sunday. Right here, right on Eccentric Nature. We're having fun today. All right. So let me see here. Yeah, Ash says, I have spearmint growing indoors. It's tiny, but it's pretty. Yep. Yep, that's very good. Spearmint. How much light are you getting that spearmint there, Seaglass? That's I got the mints tend to grow really well, even year round a lot of times, where they'll make it through the winter. They're just so hardy and they love to take over everything. Um, oh, good. Yeah, a lot is good. If 10 to 12 hours, especially if it's a grow light, is not unheard of when you're giving light to an indoor herb. The one thing you want to make sure you're doing if you're giving them an indoor light is not to get them too close. So just try, if you are giving a grow light, make sure it's at least a foot away, 12 inches. Okay. Seaglass says grow lights and a south-facing window. Excellent. All right. And Ashlung has staking pots. Ooh, yeah. Everybody's digging the mint. All right. Very cool. Yeah, so that's Angela there. And let me dig into another one of my ones. Okay, this is a fun one. I don't think I mentioned this in my peppermint video directly, because when I talked about the benefits, I didn't talk about the uses of peppermint, which actually I probably could do a separate video just on the outside uses, outside of the body, essentially. The outside uses of peppermint and spearmint, one of which is for ants. Now, the interesting part of this fact is that ants essentially communicate by leaving a chemical trail. Okay, and that's part of the reason why if anything kind of interrupts it, they kind of freak out and they're like, don't know what the heck's going on, and they can easily get lost. It's because they all kind of follow along in that trail when you see them going along. And because peppermint and spearmint are so strong in their scents, you can actually easily break that chemical trail, and you can actually easily disband an army of ants that way. So if you're trying to get some ants away from an area, you might be able just to use either some peppermint essential oil to create a line that keeps them away from something, or just use a bunch of peppermint herbs, plants, to keep them away from an area. So that's why ants are repelled by peppermint. Yeah, pretty cool. Woohoo! Have you guys heard of that one before? You just put your mint in the window. Yep, always good. Always good to get them lots. The thing about mint is, though, is you don't want to get too much direct hot sunlight. I've noticed that mine actually does better with more indirect light. The more I put it directly in the sunlight for longer, the more it's like, ugh. It's not so much the same with grow lights because they're not as harsh as a direct sunlight. But when I put mine in the window, I tend to put it further back in the window if I can. Like in my bay window, I put it towards the back of the bay window rather than the front of the bay window. Yeah. So very important that you give it a little bit of room. And it's the same thing with some other ones, like the Tulsi basil I know doesn't like as much direct sunlight. But other ones can handle it. The basil can generally handle the direct sunlight. The oregano, the cilantro can handle more of the direct sunlight. It just depends. Yeah. The bugs out here just love to attack your mints. Yeah. Well, it's not the same for all bugs. Not all bugs are created equal. Some will still go after them. But and it also can depend on the variety of the mint that you have as well, because it can change the effectiveness and the potency of it, which is part of the reason why I say, like, if you want to really try it with the essential oil, because it's obviously much more condensed and much stronger. So if you really want to create a line to keep them off, then doing the essential oil is going to probably give you a much more dramatic effect than just having the herbs there to try and deter any ants or other bugs that are normally dissuaded by what's supposedly dissuaded by peppermint. Kind of like mosquitoes are supposed to be dissuaded by mint as well. But if they're not being dissuaded by just the little mint plants you have, it means you just need a stronger source. Is probably what is true. Yeah. Thank you, Seaglass. True. Yes. All right. I talked about basil a lot. Let me see here. Let me see if I can find another one that I want to talk about here. Yeah, there's so many different, and that should actually help, Yeah, so that if you can use several different ones at once, I mean, there's lots of them, Hibiscus has those kind of properties. Catnip, basil, lemongrass, lavender, all of them have been known to repel various types of bugs. So you can use any of those and lots of other ones as well to keep them away. Um, hmm. They say that with garlic, which is more officially a vegetable than an herb, but it's, you know, it's close, and I'm going to be doing a garlic video pretty soon anyways, that you can actually pop off some of the garlic scapes and use those because the pointy flower slims can actually give you a more concentrated garlic flavor if you want a bit more punch to your garlic, a stronger flavor than just chopping it as well. Yeah. Couple things about garlic for you there. Oh, you were buffering. I was going slow motion. No. How's that? That work for you? Having a slow motion kind of day, huh? I'm buffering too much. I had that problem last week. Yeah, now it's telling me too that my stream is at a lower bit rate all of a sudden. Oh no. Wonder why that is. Oh, now it's saying I got a good connection. Okay. I think what it is that it went on to a different video and it didn't stop that one video from running so I just need to make sure I stop that video. So okay, we're good now. Okay, that was I think my fault. My bad. I gotta make sure when I'm done with the video to pause it or stop it because it doesn't want to run that other video, of course, while I'm doing this at the same time. It freaks it out too much. Okay, we're safe now. We're good. Let's bring it back in. Everybody's happy. All right. One more cool fact before we move on here. Where's it at? Oregano. Yeah, oregano. I'll be doing a video on this, I'm sure, before too long. But this is a fun thing, is that officially oregano's early name from the Greek is actually loosely translated as Joy of the Mountains. Yeah, I thought that was one of the funner names, with Joy of the Mountains for oregano. And it is mostly originally found around Greece as well, which is why it's definitely well known around that area. I believe the Greek people, the original Greeks, the ancient Greeks believed that Aphrodite actually created oregano. So it's part of the mythology of it there. They say Aphrodite created it. So, yeah. But I just love that name, the Joy of the Mountains. Very cool. Another one I'm going to plan on doing a video on maybe around Christmas. Either I'm going to be doing some cinnamon or nutmeg around Christmas because they're very Christmassy type herbs. But cinnamon during the Middle Ages was very expensive and quite difficult to get in Europe and was seen as a symbol of prestige. Yeah. And so when explorers came around and started making their voyages, a lot of times they actually went in search of cinnamon for trade because it was so valuable. It's one of the ones that they definitely went looking for. And in 1518, explorers from Portugal had landed in an area called Ceylon, now known as Sri Lanka, which is where Ceylon cinnamon, of course, comes from. One of the two big types of cinnamon. Yeah, so that was originally discovered around 1518 by the Portuguese. Well, the Sri Lankans, if they were already there, already knew about it, but it didn't really become a big trade product until the Portuguese got there. So, and unfortunately, they kind of bullied their way into trading it from them, but, you know, part of the bad part of history is lots of bullies in history. Well, but it wasn't until the 1800s that lots of people started really growing Ceylon in different areas. So it was really until that, and for a long time there, that they actually had quite a stranglehold on the Ceylon market. Yeah. Where is your puppet? Which puppet? What puppet are we talking about here? I have one or two videos early on where I had the puppet in there. I haven't used it much recently. I probably have to write it back into one of my scripts. My wife likes doing puppetry, and we just they had a little sock puppet. And if you guys had seen that, in like one of my early Basil videos, and I think one of my early Time videos, I used it in. I can't remember all the videos I had the puppet in now. Hey, our treasured home, good to see you. Let me catch up. Hello, Geeky Gardens, good to see you too. Let me see here. Catch up. Oregano seedlings are so tiny. Yeah, they are. They are very hard to go. Part of it is this type of soil. Oregano likes a more particular type of soil. They like a little bit of a more sandy or loamy soil like rosemary does. And they like very particular conditions for the heat and stuff as well. So, yeah, it is definitely a tougher one. See, if you want to try and grow oregano, definitely look up some more stuff on how to grow it because it definitely is much more particular. Let me see here. Ash Young says, so here's an interesting question. When did they start seasoning their food with these seasons and herbs? Oh, man. Depends on the type of herb because seasonings and herbs go back, I mean, as far as most modern man it has been in existence. I mean, the Egyptians used them, the Babylonians used them, the ancient Chinese used them. So they've been in use for, 5,000, 6,000 years at least. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if the ancient caveman had used them as well. We just don't have any records of that. So, yeah, and the vanilla one, I had the puppet in there. Okay. Yeah, I think I also have the puppet in one of the Basil videos. But I haven't done it in like any of the recent series. I'll have to write it in again because I do like the puppet is fun. My wife runs the puppet, so. All right. Let's go on to another channel. How about, we got a lot of garden channels today, so let's just do another garden channel here. Bonsai J, a different type of gardening channel. This guy does bonsai plants. So, Bonsai J is the man. Here we go. Let's give you his link. Ba-boom. There it is. Bonsai J. So let's bring up his video here. So he does all kinds of different lengths videos, but everyone is about a different type of bonsai. He actually works with different types of trees too. He's got some geranium bonsais, a lemon cypress tree bonsai. I mean, yeah, jade tree. He does them from all different kinds here. So, yeah, let's see what he's got here on his latest one.
Today we're going to be doing some work on some pre-bonsai. But just before we do, we're going to look at some updates. And we'll start with the first one that I'm in the middle of working on my back porch. Well, I want to take a look at my poinsettia forest first. What I've just got done doing is removing a top layer of the soil. I started to get like a black mold on the soil in spots. So I've just removed it, and I'm just going to be putting some fresh bonsai soil in on top here again. And when I was removing the soil, you can see that I've got quite the roots developing down here. We got some flare happening at the base of our trunks, which is really good. So there again, some quite nice roots developing. I thought this one was kind of interesting how this trunk's on a bit of a lean. So we have a surface root that's developing on the surface here.
Let's show you some of the leaves here.
Again, it's turning out really well. I'm not going to cut it away back right now. Hopefully I'll maybe get some color in for Christmas time. And maybe after Christmas we'll see about taking it back a bit.
All right, so that's Bonsai J. Known him for a while, and He's been slowly but surely growing his channel up. He's just over 1,000 subscribers now, 1,114 it looks like. Turn it all the way up so you can hear it. Oh, okay. I gotta crank this up a bit more when I do it. So
Well, we are back inside, and as you can see beside me here,
is that better? Can you hear it there?
tropical trees are back in for the winter. Well, I think what we'll do is we'll start off with a few updates.
Yeah, I'll just make sure I crank it up because this is actually behind my speaker. I wasn't sure if when I actually do the screen capture, if it actually plays the audio from the computer as well. Apparently it doesn't. I mean, it just comes through my mic. So I have to just crank it up a little bit more so you can hear theirs better. Thanks for letting me know that. It's the first time anybody said they couldn't hear it. So I just needed to crank it up a little bit there and get it back up to full steam. Okay, so that's Bonsai Jay. Yep, give him a look. And he's... if you like anything about bonsais, he's got tons of them for you. Lots of good stuff there to check out. Okay. Yeah, the bonsais. I love them. They are very cute, aren't they? they are quite tricky because you eat more so than any other plant. You're constantly doing lots of pruning and shaping to get them the direction that you want. If you're trying to keep them all small and twisting them into the right direction. So... yeah, very interesting, those ones. Let's go and find some more fun facts here for you. Okay, here's a good one. Herbs, this is part of the reason I talk about the health benefits of herbs a lot, is that a lot of times herbs... actually, and spices have a lot more antioxidants than a lot of different fruits and vegetables. And it's also interesting that things with like orange peels, lemon peels, and probably with some of the other peels as well, that the actual peels of the fruit can have more antioxidants than the actual fruit itself. So yeah, very interesting that these plants actually that can fight cancer and heart disease, so the herbs, are actually much stronger than a lot of fruits and vegetables. I mean, maybe just because they're all, that's part of the fun of the leafy green family. But I talked about that one before in one of my videos, that Romans believed the consumption of mint would increase their intelligence. Yep, that's in my mint video. Also talked about that. Let me see here. Chives have, yep. Oh, there's a fun one. Okay. A royal herb strewer. Yes, a royal herb strewer was a popular profession in England in the days before proper drainage and medicine were the norm. Now, back then, herbs were used for, of course, lots of different things, including deodorizing things, making the place smell better, different various, obviously, types of healing properties. That even back during the ancient times of the ancient Greeks, back to the ancient Egyptians, they used it for these things. But the herb strewer's primary duty was to distribute herbs and flowers throughout the royal apartments in order to mask rather unpleasant aromas in the city. Since they didn't have proper drainage, that was obviously an important job. So yes, the very important job of the royal herb strewer before fun things like the aqueduct and good sewage drainage was in place. Good to have a royal herb strewer around. There's places around town now I wish we had a royal herb strewer. Where's there? What am I catching up on the comments here? Ash Young says, I'm bad with most plants. Oh, no. That does happen. So there's some plants that I'm not as good at with others, It's just a matter of experience, too. The more you do them, the more you get better at them. Yeah, that is pretty crazy, isn't it? Seaglass says, yeah, the bonsai are not meant to do that. They aren't traditionally meant to do that. That's the part of the interesting thing of bonsai, is just to show you what plants can endure and still survive, man. Let me see here. Let's grab another one here. Of course, that's another thing that another one that we talked about bugs, but moths in particular. Lavender is definitely a good one for that. I use lavender all the time to deter moths. We have little packets of lavender around our clothes and stuff, so the moths don't go in there. And it's always good to, when you do that though, you want to always try and renew the packets, because again, it's going to lose its effectiveness after a while. So yeah, the more you can renew them, the better. Yeah, I've mentioned it in a couple of videos before, but most of the major herbs weren't actually found in America. The most herbs actually most of the primary types of herbs. I'm sure they say that they were all brought over, but I'm sure there are different types of varietals. But when it comes to any of the major herbs like basil, thyme, rosemary, sage, oregano, all of these, the ones that you know and heard about, they all primarily come from the Mediterranean region over through India and China. And I think that's part of the problem, though, is that lack of records, is that people all the time say that all these herbs were brought over to the Americas because of the settlers coming over from Britain around the 1600s. And I actually have a bit of a theory that a lot of that isn't necessarily true, that there probably were varietals of those plants in various areas in some of the Americas, if not North America, South America. It's just you didn't have quite the same records over there, because I mean, like a lot of the Mayan culture, there isn't much kept on actual historical records on them that you can actually say you have anything that talks about the herbs. So, and it's kind of the same thing with a lot of different areas in the Americas, that the Native Americans didn't keep many records on that as well. So, they say that sage came over, but white sage is pretty actually indigenous to North America, and the Native Americans were using that when the settlers first came over. So, it's one of those things that I've heard it a lot as I've been studying the history of these things, but I also take that with a grain of salt, because I think the more I do more and more research, the more it's like, some of them probably did exist, probably just maybe different varietals, just because there's so many different species out there and so many different types of sage and basil and all that, that basil and all of these different ones probably did exist in North America and South America, but might not have just been those primary varietals. Like maybe sweet basil did come over, but other types of basil were already over here. So that's an interesting one, an interesting theory that I have that goes along with that addendum there. So most herbs are considered to be aphrodisiacs, including dill. Yeah. But most of the time, I pretty much every herb I've talked about in one way or another, they say it's an aphrodisiac. And it's probably just because they're so fragrant and have such a strong taste to them and so alluring, and a lot of times were so rare that they were, considered more of a delicacy. So there's just that mindset to them. But yeah, pretty much every major herb you come across says it's an aphrodisiac. Here's an interesting one for you. Yeah. But the Egyptians, of course, were using it back as far as 3500 BC. But Chinese were also were using it probably as far back as then. But they didn't. A lot of the written records, some of them have survived, and there's some that say they started looking at the organized research of herbs as far as 2500 BC back in China. And so, yeah, Chinese were very much big on lots of different herbs and spices over there way back when. And of course, they are some of the originators of tea as well, and use of herbs in tea. And I believe I mentioned that in my rose tea video, that, China was really big about rose tea before anybody else was. Very monster rose tea fans over there. Yeah. me see here. Now, part of the reason that herbs are also distinguished from vegetables is that, like spices, they're only used in small amounts and tend to more provide flavor than substance to food. So that's one of the main reasons that they're different. Obviously, it's also that herbs and spices come from most of all the stock, and that most vegetables tend to be what comes from the ground. Obviously, there's some differences with that, but that's why they say tomato is actually a fruit, because like other fruits, it actually grows off of the leaves or the stems of the plant outside, whereas most every other vegetable grows, a lot of them grow from on the ground or under the ground. So pumpkin's still a vegetable, but it grows on the ground. It tends not to grow much above the ground. So small differences on how to figure out what thing is what. Let me see here. Yeah, American natives have herbs that they've used forever. Absolutely, JLG. Yep. Ash Youngsons, do ferns have the flowers that have gender? Both genders in one flower. Yeah, it depends on the type of flower, because there are some that are asexual and can kind of self-propagate, whereas then there's some that you generally just cross-pollinate you rely on the insects to pollinate each other. So like if you have a jalapeno, when it grows its flowers, what you want is a bug to kind of take the pollen from this one and run it over to this one, and then run it over to this one and run it over to that one, because doing that cross-pollination actually gets the actual peppers to come out. Yeah. So yes, there is kind of a gender thing that happens with various flowers and spices, where some can just grow, but a lot of them require a cross-pollination in order for them to grow. Yeah. All right. How are we doing on time? Doing okay. I have to officially end today by 6 because my wife's running her singing live stream. She always does these on Sunday, so I have to end before that starts. So that means we only got about 30 minutes. So let's move along here. Let's go to the next channel, eh? All right. Here's a wonderful gal that I have talked about, but not actually officially promoted her channel since I started doing the live streams. I've mentioned her a couple times as she's come into the live streams off and on. Liz Brousseau! Liz Brousseau. But there's inside, how do you cross-pollinate? Do you mean, I don't understand what you mean. If it inside, like if the flower is not open yet, or if it's... the flowers obviously have to open in order for you to cross-pollinate to get them to grow, if you're growing fruit or growing a vegetable off of them. But I'm not sure what you're meaning exactly there. You'll have to clarify for me. But Liz Brousseau, let's bring up Liz here for you. Shaboom. Okay, now Liz does... essentially an inspirational channel. That's where she says, grow on YouTube, shine your light, be inspired. Because she does a lot of videos that are all about either learning journaling ideas for self-improvement, truth about growing on YouTube, journey about motivation live streams, so motivational live streams that she does. Let's grab one of her regular videos. That's just one of her ones about growing on YouTube. How do we do that? Oh, this is a live stream too. Okay, no, let's not do one of the lives here. Because we're on a live. Let's do it. Let's go to one that's not a former live. Fall must have. So let's just go to the journaling one here. Let's go to the journaling one.
I don't know about you, but before I had a journaling practice, I went to bed with 1,000,001 thoughts in my head, 1,000,001 things that were on my to-do list that I had forgotten to do, and I would toss and turn all night because I just couldn't get a restful sleep. This journal practice, I really think, is going to help you with that, and continuing it for those 21 days is going to really break up that pattern of going to bed with that, you know, a sense of defeat and self-doubt. It's going to take that away. As you master writing out your ideal day in the morning, you're going to be able to check check all of those boxes. I brought just some of my journals along with me today. I have been on a huge self-improvement and just a transformative journey in the last couple of years, and journaling has played a huge part in that transformation. Now that I'm a YouTube content creator, doing live streams and talking to all the people and doing all the things, I've had so many people ask me questions about my journaling, when I do it, how I do it. So I'm making this video for all of you who have asked me about my journaling practice, and for anybody else who is interested in getting started in journaling, because I think as a self-improvement practice, it is 100% a great way to go. What I'm going to show you is a super easy way to get started journaling, and it's awesome because it's going to include all the different kinds of journaling out there and roll them all into one. So it's a super easy way to get started with journaling, and it's specifically designed to tackle your daily habits and really see yourself reach those self-improvement milestones day by day. I think you're really going to enjoy it. Now,
Okay, so if you want to find out the rest of the journaling ideas, go ahead and watch Liz's video and give her a like. Otherwise, she's got lots of other good stuff to go check out. That's Liz Brousseau. Oh yeah, another good channel for you there. What's up, bam? Liz Brousseau. All right. Welcome, mini plants. Hello. Yes, in the house. If you want, you can actually self cross-pollinate and just kind of use a Q-tip. Or what are they called over in here in the UK? An actual cotton swab. Yeah, you just take exactly. Seaglass just said it right there. You take a brush or a Q-tip, you rub it into one of the flowers, and then you rub it into one of the other flowers and one of the other flowers, and you just kind of take the pollen and you spread it around from flower to flower with a little Q-tip. Yeah, that's all you need to do. That's what we do whenever we grow jalapenos, and it works like a charm. Works great. Yeah, well worth it. So let me see here. What else? It's been a little pollen help. Yeah. What's going on, mini plants? How you doing today? Welcome. We are talking fun herb facts and shouting out a few channels as well. Oh yeah, where's that one fact? That was the one I wanted to talk about there. It's not on this page. There's one page in particular that I wanted to mention. I think it's on this page. Here we go. Okay. Yeah, so in the Bible, officially they say there are 32 references to herbs in the Old Testament, but only 5 in the New Testament. I need to go back and research this fact to find out if that's officially true, because they might be getting confused as, like I talked about in my lavender video, a lot of times herbs actually had different names, of course, because different cultures, different places, they're named different things. Like lavender in the Bible is actually called spikenard. So it's just a different varietal of lavender, but it is lavender that was used in the Bible. Obviously, the big ones that everybody knows about is frankincense and myrrh, mentioned at the birth of Christ. So that's the 2 of the big New Testament herbs that they talk about out of those 5. But yeah, basil I looked up, and I didn't necessarily find a direct reference to it in the Bible, but there are several stories about each herb linked to various biblical characters. So yeah, lots of fun facts about that. If you want to find out all the religious facts about basil, I got a video all about that. And so most times I lock them into my mythology videos. I'll also talk about the religious facts in those videos as well. So yeah, if you want to find out the religious facts of herb, just watch one of my mythology of herbs videos. The Oxford English Dictionary defines Herbert as a stupid, ridiculous, or inconsequential person. This is just a fun one because it's got herb in the name. But Herb or Herbert, where'd it go? There's also a thing I saw on this. Is it on this page or is it on a different one? Was officially like one of the biggest names. Oh, there it is. Was the 20th most popular name for kids in the UK around 1900, and now it's not even the top 100. Nobody apparently calls their kid Herb anymore. Or Herb. So no one's calling their kids Herb anymore. What's my favorite herbs to grow, Seaglass says. I've been wanting to try and do more exotic ones like wormwood, but I've been doing more and more varietals, expanding varietals of my major ones. I obviously love basil, and I'll actually just kind of make myself basil snacks, and like I'll just have like some seitan and basil, and just that'll be my snack. So I kind of do use it almost like a salad sometimes. But also, I like I said, I've mentioned before on the channel, I have like 25 different types of herb varietals I'm growing right now. And once I get in my new space, I may have more. So, so yeah, I love growing all different kinds of ones. Anything that I can use is the type of herbs I like to grow. I do try and expand out and try different kinds. But when I try those kinds, I still try and make sure they're kinds I know I can either use for a tea or just for eating. There's some that I tend not to grow, like I don't do smudging, so I don't tend to grow white sage, but I try and grow Spanish sage and regular common sage. Mint and rose. Yeah, I don't actually grow rose. We tend to just get the rose. We tend to just buy it, but I grow lots of different mints. I grow spearmint, peppermint, chocolate mint. And there's one other, I have one other mint here. I'm pretty sure. I'm forgetting which one it is. Lemon balm. Lemon balm is officially in the mint, one of the mints. So, yeah. But yeah, tons. I got tons. Any of the major ones, I've probably got it. Yeah. So that's those. Let's move along. I can't wait to see my new garden too. I definitely will take you guys on a house tour once we move in and show you what my plans are for where I'm going to put everything on one of my live streams. What I'll probably do and make it easy is I'll just pre-record everything, and then I'll talk over it as I show you the areas, and we'll just run through it as we go through it. It'll be fun. But let's go into some more fun facts here. I talked about how they actually started kind of doing herbal research in China as far as 2500 BC, but there essentially were schools for herbalists but as far back as 3000 BC in Egypt as well. Of course, India has a long history of herb use as well, as far back as 4000 BC. Ayurveda medicine has a long history, and many herbs and spices like turmeric have been used there since that time. Of course, Mesopotamia and the Middle East region, the rest of it has the herbs that date back 5,000 years. And there's different clay tablets that talk about how herbs were used. Let me see here. I mentioned it a couple times. The Pedanios discoides and the Demeteria medicea are two of the oldest medicinal herb collections. At least modern ones, and those come from right around the turn of the millennia, which is right around 77 AD, is when the Pedanios discoides came out. One of the big evolutions in herbs happened because of Charlemagne, because what Charlemagne did for herbs was he actually made it mandatory for most abbeys who to actually have herb gardens. Okay, so at the time, the most places you would find herb gardens were a part of a church or part of an abbey. They would all have a garden there, and they would always contain herbs because the Emperor Charlemagne dictated everybody needs to grow herbs. There were several that in particular that he was very vehement about making sure that people had sage and rosemary and basil. He was very, very much a huge herb fan, and a lot of herbs expansion is thanks to Charlemagne. Yes, so hooray Charlemagne, at least for herbs. Woo! Where's your? If I go to another fun herb fact here. Yes. Oh, that's always a fun one. It's in my basil video, but I'm gonna mention it now anyways, just because it's a fun fact that I love so much. That the ancient Greeks and Romans thought that basil would only grow better if you screamed and yelled curses at it. So if you shouted at your basil plant, it would grow better. Which is funny because there is actually kind of a science behind that now, and the research they've done, they actually have found out. And I remember watching a Mythbusters episode. Does anybody remember Mythbusters? they actually did an episode on how plants do grow better when you play music to them, and part of it is just like, I think just the vibrations of it, and the I don't know, not sure if it was the volume that made a difference, but they said actually after several weeks, it was actually the heavy metal herbs that grew even better than the classical herbs. And I think part of that might be because of just the overall sound vibrations that are put out because of it. So, but yeah, if you want herbs to grow better, you probably can shout to them and they probably will grow better. So there's an amazing fact for you right there. I love that fact, yeah. Well, what you can learn can be used in D&D. Oh, I don't know. Yeah, actually, there are lots of different games. I've heard about different games that actually have herbs as part of them, so that's funny, yeah. Yeah, I used to love Mythbusters too when they were done. Oh, thanks, Our Treasured Home. Yeah, we are very excited. We're not actually buying a house, we're renting one now, but it's a tiered 2-level house. So we have like 2 bedrooms on the top floor, and then we have the living room, dining room, and kitchen on the bottom floor, and then the garden behind that. So, yes, very excited. Yeah, cursing thrips. I don't know that if that helps. It may help the herbs grow, but then you still have to get rid of the thrips, or they're just going to keep eating them. So, I got to check it out to see what the equivalent is over here. But my man Todd from Todd's Tropicals actually did a video recently on a really good product he found to kill thrips off, and he said it works fantastically. So you might want to check that out at Todd's Tropicals. Good stress relief, yeah. Let's sneak one more channel in here before we get rolling, because we're getting close to having to leave here. So one more channel for today. I'll do another life and oh, shaboom! Modern life and travel. No, that's not. I entered that wrong. Modern family. Modern family life and travel. Sorry, guys. I'll retype that in there. Modern family life and travel. There you go. That's correct. Make myself joke. Woo, okay. Here they are. More water. All right, last channel for the day. These guys do a mix of stuff. They will go out and do some exploration videos, but then they also do like some home cooking videos and stuff. It's all about their family traveling different places and checking out different things. Let's do one of their travel ones here. What looks like fun? Night flight down up and down the Vegas Strip. The flight simulator video. Huh? Okay. Let's go to Devon. I always like Devon. It's a nice place.
'Twas the night before Christmas. Where
That's
could Santa be?
an ad
In the north.
that we don't want to see. Skip the ads. Okay. Let's skip ahead and get towards the... Once they've already traveled along here and getting towards the water. Here we go. Shaboom. Overcast day in Devon. Oh, looks like he's doing a little metal detecting as well.
To the ocean, isn't it? If they're going out in this weather.
It's making a jet wave behind you.
So we've taken the coastal path through a camp. Through Watermill Camp. A nice place for a picnic. Nice views on here, isn't it?
Oh, there we go. Looks like the rocks from Goonies. Nice.
They fish in that.
There you go. Modern travel, life, and family. But yeah, when you go to Devon, going out and seeing the cliffs and different things like that is part of the fun. It's kind of like going to Dover and seeing the White Cliffs. There's lots of really cool coastline stuff down there. So that's modern family life and travel. I'm about to say it wrong again. Modern family life and travel. Give them a like. Give them a watch. Subscribe if you like them. Yeah, better get off before my my wife goes on. Oh, let me bring that up. She's on Instagram, so if you want to, the easiest spot to catch her is on Instagram. So let me bring that up here. Actually, I'm still showing it to you. So let's bring me up here, and I can just bring you the link here. So, there we go. I will type these both in for you so you have them if you want to go check out my wife singing. She's awesome. You won't be disappointed, that is for sure. So if you want to just go on your computer, there's the Instagram link. Or if you're going on your phone, it's at Rachel Marquez Actress. Boom, right there. So yes, you can go check those out. I have a metal detecting channel I'm going to do next time. I didn't have time to get to him, but I have a metal detecting friend I want to talk about next time I come around. So that's definitely on the plan for the next round. But that's it. I guess, yeah, we're about time to wrap up here, so I have to get her going. But this Thursday, I'm doing a more expanded video just talking about herbs for pain and PMS. But then the following Sunday, I think I'm going to be releasing my top 10 herbs for pain relief video. These a more specific one. So if you want to, if I'm not ready for that, I'll probably just do another live stream just like this one. But yeah, we shall see what happens. It's going to get kind of crazy here as we start getting ready to move. So I might just be doing a few more live streams. But the main thing I'm planning on doing is trying to get out my mythology of lavender and my video about garlic and vampires. I'm not sure exactly what I want to title it yet. It's just the origins of garlic and vampires is essentially what I'm going to be talking about, is how those two became associated with each other. So those are my big videos coming up you can look forward to. In the meantime, you feel free to go check out my history of mythology of herbs playlist or some of my old live streams. Lots of other good content for you to watch. But that's going to be it for me today. When are you on, Ashley? When am I on usually? My normal live stream Thursdays happens at right about 5 p.m. on Greenwich Mean Time, which means noon Eastern Time, or I think that makes it about really early Pacific Time, like 9 a.m. so right around this same time, but just on Thursdays. So yeah, hopefully we'll see you guys then. GLG says, great, could have used those for my dental horrors last week. Oh yeah. For dentals ones, yeah, you definitely could have used some of those. I think I mentioned one of those to you last time was cloves. But okay, it is time for me to get rolling. Thank you so much for guys being here and sticking with me the whole time. I really appreciate that. It means a lot to me. It's been a great day. You guys have a great evening or a great rest of the day, depending on where you're at in the world. Until next round, have a good eccentric day.